Joe's out of town and won't be here with us today, so you only have 4 board members to communicate with. We're going to have a brief presentation by FSR, a statement by the attorney, Wayne Gorelnik, who's on Zoom. And then after that, we will open it up for comments and questions. Please keep your comments under 3 minutes, and please be respectful and appropriate in your comments. Otherwise, we'll have to cut off the the mic or shorten our program here today. So I want to start with Chris with First Service. I know he has a brief presentation for us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Board, and thank you for the community for joining today's town hall. This presentation is done on behalf of the Board of Directors with input from them. So I'm going to go over a couple of items. First, the introduction, the board proposal to establish an on-site real estate office at Sun Lakes. That's why we're here today, to get input from the community. We're going to outline a brief outline on benefits and revenue potential. And then finally, as Bob said, after Wayne Gorelnik does a statement, we'll open it up for Q&A, or pretty much more of questions, comments from the community. Workshop, as a reminder, is more of listening to what the community has to say. It's not the board talking and making decisions. That's not this type of meeting. So just to get that in the open. So first, why consider a on-site real estate office? Convenient access to residents and prospective buyers. It's also a way for those brokers, agents to understand the rules and regulations of the community, communicate that clearly to the buyers before buying to help them understand. It promotes home sales and community visibility, a potential for steady HOA revenue, and provides a professional first impression of Sun Lakes. Now, communities that have on-site offices, there are some that are Trilogy La Quinta, Indian Springs Country Club, Indian Ridge Country Club, Oasis Country Club, Morningside, and PGA West. The Indian Springs and the Oasis Country Club would be similar to our size grouping, our age group, etc., and prices. That key is the prices. Now, this is an example of one of the offices. Jason, if you can go ahead. That is at one of those facilities that I mentioned. It's a small little area they've utilized in part of their entryway. The board's vision for this is not to cut into the library, but to actually remove the bar or leave the bar piece there and have a little office setting, not to tear into the library, not to tear into the billiards room. So that is the area when talking about that small footprint. And this is one of the examples that is at another HOA. And Jason, the next one. So what has the board been doing? Notices were sent back to 150 brokers and agents through an email. That email list was compiled from First Service Residential's escrow system that provided the emails and the names. Emails were sent out on July 10th, 2025. 14 broker agents attended an orientation in the library here at Sun Lakes to understand what is this, what's Sun Lakes. This is the area that it's looked at. This is the board's vision. In July 23rd, 2025, an RFP was issued and posted on Sun Lake's website, and responses were due on the 21st, or last week, I believe. Apologize. And then Attorney Wayne Gorelnik has worked with these real estate office agreements, helping HOAs down in the desert with this, so he has experience, and he has supported a proposal of this as a steady stream of income to offset rising costs in California and across the nation. Now, next one, revenue and lease details. So the projected revenue is $100,000 to $200,000 annually. It's a short-term lease of 1 year, so it gives some flexibility to the board and to the agent. Community access follows open house protocols where they have to be on a guest list. If not, they have to go to the front gate to gain access to the community. That is the model that we would follow, or the board has chosen to follow in this endeavor. Next, so lessons from previous ventures. So there have been prior attempts to have some activity in there. Cheers Bar, Coffee Junction, didn't break even. It was more cost. It was a net loss when you look at it to the resources that were put into it. It wasn't recovering enough. So those ventures didn't work. This venture offers a high demand and revenue generating service with the real estate office. That is the approach the board is looking at. So, summary of the next steps. There was strong interest from brokers and agents. Again, a high revenue potential to benefit the HOA, supports community growth and the visibility of the community. And finally, the board is here today to hear and consider your comments. What you feel, is it a good idea? Is it not a good idea? And why? That's what the board is here. So I want to just remind everyone, the board is going to be listening to you, writing notes. They may not respond back to you. They're here more to listen. Usually with 2 ears, 1 mouth, we were supposed to listen twice as much as we speak. In this case, in this environment, the board is going to be listening more to you. And then they will make a decision at a future date. They're not making a decision today. This is not an open action item meeting for the board. The board is simply here to listen to you. So with that, let's go on to, that completes that. So we can have Wayne give some comments. Wayne, can you try to talk one more time? No, we still lost it.
Keep trying, Wayne.
One more time. Okay. What I'm going to recommend, Mr. President, is when we get the sound up, we're going to keep trying that with Wayne. But why don't we go ahead and start with some comments from the...
I'll make a few comments while we're waiting for the our technical difficulties to get corrected. Just to give you a little background, the reason that the board is attempting to do this came from last year's budget preparation. We had gone about notifying the district delegates, the committees, and the community in general about we were looking for different ways to enhance our revenue and keep the HOA payments lower, or not increasing significantly. And one of the ones that came up last year was to rent out that particular location, the Cheers Bar. And so we discussed it, we investigated it, we considered other options, checked with other communities, checked with our attorney, and then we eventually came up with the idea, well, the one that produces the most and would be the best benefit for the community is a real estate location. So that's when it started about a little over a year ago. We went through the RFP process, request for proposal. As he mentioned earlier, we sent out the notices. It came back. We had 4 companies interested. 3 actually sent RFPs in. We opened those RFPs yesterday, and we haven't made any decision on them. We wanted to have town hall and more input from the community. But that's kind of like the background of why this has come about. One of the things that we felt was important, that it was going to annually, not just a one-shot deal, but annually provide a lot of revenue for the community. I estimate a minimum of $200,000. Our attorney estimates, and he's done this at many, many communities, of over $200,000 a year. I'd rather be conservative, but that's the estimated annual income. It'll improve the marketing and the sales, here. The sales have been going down recently, and Wayne indicated that it has improved property values in many communities. Once the real estate office comes in, the property values have gone up, and he's been involved with about, I think he said, 25 communities that have a real estate office in their HOA. It's no cost to the homeowners. All improvements, all changes are going to be borne by the tenant, not by us. And there'll be no change to the procedure for allowing prospective home buyers to come in. So it would be the same thing like you're coming in for an open house. So there's really no additional risk to the community. Now I know that there's concern, from some realtors that won't be with that particular real estate company because we don't know which one is going to be chosen, if there's going to be one chosen at all. We don't know that yet. So it could adversely impact some realtors. But our position is what is the ultimate, what's the best thing for our entire community, not just some realtors. I know that there's a petition getting sent around to sign, protesting it. But the petition itself is premature because it must meet at least one of the four elements of it, and the first one is lack of consultation. Well, we have consulted, we have notified the community. We've been working on this for over a year. We are having a town hall. We are taking input from the owners here. So that's not true. The next is it's a violation of bylaws and governing documents. It is no violation of the bylaws or the CC&Rs or rules or regulations or the governing documents here. It's not, and our attorney can verify that. The third one is that it's a financial burden on our community. Well, that's not true. We're going to make money. We're not going to lose money. So it's not a burden. And then the fourth one is alternatives were not considered by the HOA, that we didn't consider any other options. Well, that's not true either. We have considered for a long time. An example is like across the way at Four Seasons, they do have a salon there, and they rent out a salon, and other communities, rent out on a regular basis portions of their common area, but they make no money. It's just convenience for the people, to have the salon. I know Jerry Monahan, the president, and he indicated it's a loser, but the people like it, but it doesn't make any revenue, for his community at all. So those four elements of the petition, none of them are really valid. So I just wanted to let you know that we're aware, we're following the the proper procedures, and we're trying to consider what is best for the community. But we have not made a decision on this matter. We're interested in your concerns and your inputs, and hopefully we'll get our attorney online to talk to us about that. So if there's any questions on the contract, he'll be the best one, to answer that rather than myself.
So at this point, Wayne can hear us, and what we're asking is if he has a comment, Wayne can put it in the chat, and we can read that off, and I'll. Sorry, I'm more talking to Bob about the procedure we're going to do right now. So right now, Wayne can hear everything that's being said. He cannot hear, or he cannot speak. We can't hear his volume right now. We're trying to work on that. So if Wayne has a comment, he can put that in the chat, and we can read it for him, or he can email me. That's where I'm at right now. I know, Wayne, I apologize for that. But I would suggest that we proceed, because it's more of hearing what the community wants. That is the importance of this meeting right now.
Why don't we ask Wayne what his opinion is of our community considering to implement this real estate office here at Sun Lakes?
I get it. We're trying, Bob.
Can the board clearly define the physical imprint that this organization is going to have? Clearly define what they're going to get as far as floor space, parking, and all that stuff?
So if we're going to start the questions, then I'd have
What
the
we're going to
members.
do is that we're going to have people come up and make their comments. We will take notes if you want to answer on something specifically. I'll do my best. The attorney would be the best one for the actual contract. But Yes, those will be addressed. But we're going to do it in an orderly fashion. Did Wayne make any response to our question or not? Apologize for the technical snafus. We're doing our best to get the information from our attorney, and everybody will have an opportunity to come up. And but we would like, I think it's important to at least get a comment from the attorney at Brecker.
We can have comments from us.
We can have comments while we're waiting.
Yeah. Let's have comments while we're waiting.
We're going to go ahead with this next portion. Please sit in line.
Okay, let's try it again. Wayne, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, let's do it.
I don't like being a talking head and no one can hear me.
That's-
All right, so I've heard the introduction and you're looking at me. I have my phone here. Just a couple comments. The names that you gave on the country club, there's so many more. I represent 25 golf course country club communities. There's the Lakes Country Club, who's had an on-site realtor for over 30 years. There's Ironwood Country Club. There's the Reserve. There's Desert Horizons. There's Rancho La Quinta. There's Andalusia. There's Springs. So many of them, most of them are my clients. And I think the board really should be applauded for looking for ways to bring in revenue without assessing it to the membership. So they first did it with the reserve replenishment assessment that doesn't impact existing owners, only new owners. And now we're coming toward a way of how we can take a space that was creating a negative expense and creating as a positive. So usually with an on-site realtor, the first year is a little tougher than the next couple of years, but generally, I mean, I will tell you over at the various clubs, they're generally ranging between $300,000 and $600,000 worth of revenue that's coming in based on the percentage. And just a little bit on the legalese of these things. The leases are done specifically to provide it as a lease. Some of you, I know I'm dating myself, talking about malls, but in the old-fashioned malls that are kind of going by the way of the dinosaur, they would do a minimum rent with a percentage of sales, and that's similar to what these leases would be. There'd be a minimum rent versus a percentage of the gross commissions. The association is not acting as a realtor. It's not taking and performing any services of realtor. They're leasing the space to someone who would do so. The person who signs the lease indemnifies and holds the association harmless from any liability related to those transactions, and has to list us on their professional liability insurance. So from a liability standpoint, the association is not exposing itself, but it's also a great connection. I've seen in many of the locations where the realtors, they understand what the club is like, understands the process, and can explain it much better than someone who may be just doing an isolated transaction from the outside, not actually on site. So I'm only aware of positives, and the only negatives that I'm aware of, and again, I'm trying to be a straight shooter, transparent, doing this for 40 years, it is, of course, if you are a realtor that doesn't get the on-site realtor, sure, it's an additional competition, but you can always join that firm. I've heard some comments about we're allowing parking spaces. The concept was there'll be minimal parking spaces allotted so that they would be able to have people coming in don't have to park in the South 40, but not a lot. And it's not the staff, it's really for people who are wishing to buy. With that, I'm here more to talk about whatever questions you might have in this regard. You can do the math, but this could be saving the association membership somewhere between $4 and $10 a month to the extent the revenue is created as anticipated. So,
Okay.
I'd rather open it up to questions, and you guys will let me know when you want me to answer those questions.
Thank you. So what we'll do now is that I know there's a few people here that want to make some comments, and so we can go ahead and line up, and remember to keep them appropriate, respectful, and under 3 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Tom Boyle. I live on Mission Hills Drive. I just have one question. Can you clearly define the physical imprint totally of what this organization is going to have on our facilities? Room space, parking space, all of it. So we fully understand there's a physical imprint on our property. Thank you.
I'm Nancy Powers. I've lived here for 4 years. I am licensed as a real estate agent since 1978, still actively licensed.
Wayne, I think it's the feedback on your computer.
You gotta disconnect from one audio.
Yeah, I would mute your side on Wayne and then just have the phone. It's your computer that I think is.
Okay.
Okay. Got it.
All right, Nancy, thank you. Okay. So sorry. I'll start over. I'm Nancy Powers. I've lived here actually 4 years and 1 month. I'm a licensed real estate agent still since 1978. I'm a very successful real estate agent. I am retired. I try to stay retired. I am very concerned about security. That's yes, they can come in, but who's going to make sure they leave? I have gone into Morningside's office, and they're timed by the security, and if you're not out, they come and get you. We don't have that here. We don't have that kind of ability to do that. I do not want a whole bunch of strangers in here driving around after they've had their meeting with their agent, and I speak as a successful agent. Thank you.
I'm Patricia Sire, District 12, and we love our friends and neighbors, just like Nancy. We don't want anybody else to have incentive to do away with. I'm glad we got to hear her, because we haven't got any input from any of the real estate people. And to me, it seems like when you invite them in, maybe we could have some food trucks, or we could have McDonald's or In-N-Out. I mean, it doesn't seem fair to our friends and neighbors that already live here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mary Flynn, and as a resident for 4.5 years, I see the benefit of the income keeping all of our rates and homeowners association fees down. That's a hard battle to find that balance for all of us. I would like to request, though, that you consider using that space not as a money-making space, but for those of us that have to sit in the lobby through the winter storms and summer heat selling tickets. Garden Club, Playhouse, Follies, dance shows, and I'm asking for a space. I've always looked at that space, but I know that given what you've got proposed now, is it's not a moneymaker, and it's not going to help us with defraying costs of our homeowners. But if you could please consider some space for us where we can sell tickets without having to bring our mutlucks and heaters under the table and blankets to keep ourselves warm in the winter while we're selling tickets to the shows. I think it would be a benefit for our community if you could consider some other options for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And in reference to that, we are changing the automatic front doors, so it'll be much more secure. They'll work regularly, and it'll work better than we currently have, so it'll keep you out of the cold in the wintertime. You're welcome.
My name is Bob Messier. I've been here just about 5 years now. I thought I heard the attorney say that having income of $300,000 to $400,000 a year, is that what you're expecting? That seems extremely high. A couple of questions I have. One, was there a return on investment done that included the cost to originally build that bar area and then what the cost is to make it into rental space, and then the loss to the community of functionality that it could be used? Has there been one?
The cost for redoing that area is going to be borne by the tenant, not by the community.
Oh, they would pay for it, okay.
They would pay for it, and it's already been built. It was built 40 years ago or 39 years ago, so it's there. It's a non-performing asset, and it's a great location. It's right in front when you come in, and we're just looking for a way to make some revenue off of it. That's what we're trying to do. Thank you.
And I believe the revenue estimate that we had is $100,000 to $200,000. Mr. Grelnick gave you one from another property that he has dealt with, but they're high, $300,000 to $600,000. We're only estimating $100,000 to $200,000.
So we're not paying
That
the
is
capital
accurate.
improvement
But
for
I'll
the...
No
reaffirm-
capital improvement,
Wait.
no funds from our community will be
Right.
utilized whatsoever. And our estimates are a little lower than his.
Right.
He's working with many other communities on an ongoing basis,
Way
and
down, way.
and it's I estimate a little bit lower. Thanks, Bob.
Wayne wanted one thing to say. Go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah, no, everything you just said is absolutely correct. I am saying that if you have an on-site realtor and they're successful and they farm the community, that I have seen associations bring in between $300,000 and $500,000 of your largees, of your kind of community. The expectation would be, I've seen 1,000-unit communities bringing in over 150 to 200,000, and you're 3,300. So I did a little extrapolation there.
Thank you.
Joan, if you're
Okay.
next, that line is for supporters of the real estate office. Are you in the right line?
I'm in the right line, I think. I have
I'm
an
joking.
idea.
I'm joking.
It's not going to bring you in $200,000 a year, but it would probably be a good start here. I don't want to work here in the main clubhouse every single day. I think that would people would just come in and want me to take them to see what the models look like, what are the open houses going on today. Let's go around the community, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a looky-loo agent. I want to be a buyer's agent or a seller's agent, but I don't want looky-loos. So what I would like to suggest is that maybe with all the realtors we have here in Sun Lakes, if you opened this up and said, okay, we're going to give you a chance to come in and work it for a week or a month or whatever you want to do, and have it rotate. I can't pay you unless I get paid. So if I sell a house, it's going to take 30 days to get that money and pay you. It's not going to be every month you can collect this money from me because I don't have it. So you've got to see what the community's going to be like. Are we really going to get people coming in that are real buyers and real sellers? Or are they just looky-loos? I'm happy to open up open houses and have them go see, maybe do the flyers so that they know which ones to go to. But on an ongoing basis, we get paid for selling. And I love it here in Sun Lakes. And I would really like to see Sun Lakes realtors get the return on this.
Thank you.
I'm John, the chairman of the library committee. I had a offer for a resident. She died. She left an inheritance. She wanted to have the paperback room converted to a reading area, have a comfortable place to sit. I thought we could take out the counter, the bar, and put chairs and tables and have a reading area adjacent to the paperback room. I don't know how feasible that would be. It would probably mean knocking out the wall, that wall that faces from the paperback room that faces the bar, so people can walk in from the paperback room into the bar area and sit down and read, have a comfortable, like a reading area. And I think the club can sell tickets there too, so it could be a dual purpose.
Thank you, John. I know there was a few years back, because I was a liaison.
Yeah, we
on the
got a
committee.
quote.
There was a $10,000.
$14,000. It was $10,000 from the resident.
Right.
She died. She left.
But the library committee turned that down.
Yeah, and it was for a quote for $14,000.
Correct. But that was decided. That was decided about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The library committee did not want to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Mike Scott, District 7. We moved in about a year ago, and I know everyone's talking about security, and I know that when we came in several times through the guard gate because of open houses, we traveled all around the park by ourselves. Your security is not what you need it to be, because the guards let you go in. We go into one house, then we went on to another house, and then to another house. No one knew where we were going. We had a pass only for one house. We didn't know the security was supposed to be so tight. Now that we're in, I agree, we need to tighten up the security and everything else. And there's another fact. I know the board wants to get us some more income and everything else, but when you look around the room, ask them how many people are in favor of it other than the people up in front. I don't think you'll find very many hands up. If you ask for how many are against it, right now, a lot of people will raise their hands and say they are totally against it. You got to remember that, please.
Thank you.
Hi, Bill Nevins, Sun Lakes resident. Listen to the revenue estimates. Seems like pie in the sky to me. Assuming there's 300 and some homes a year sold here in Sun Lakes, multiple realtors. So you're talking about a realtor selling homes out of the kiosk. How many homes could actually be? I mean, what's the highest grossing realtor that's selling homes in Sun Lakes currently? And any revenues you estimate should be based on that particular volume, not on the total sales of the homes in Sun Lakes. And also, if the realtor who would win the bid had another office someplace, how would you determine where the sale was initiated? If the realtor tells you the sale is initiated at Sun Lakes Shopping Center, how would you determine whether that is accurate or not?
Good question. I'll have our attorney respond to that. Thank you.
Yeah, so, there's a couple of things. Like I said, I think, maybe some communities are getting 300,000 to 600,000, but, based on what's the average number turnover here, 10%? So you're looking at 330 homes a year. I don't know, maybe the top realtor in this area might be selling 100 of those. So any revenue would have to be based on that realtor's volume, not on total volume?
Thank you. I'll have our attorney respond to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marcy Tierney.
Excuse me, Marshall.
Wayne, did you want to make a comment on that?
He's going to answer or his
I'll
question.
try to understand the issue. If you're on site and you are a large brokerage firm, how do you determine whether or not it's generated from another office or from on site? And that's a basis for negotiations and fine tuning in the lease agreement to be fair to both sides in that regard. So if it's a local office and they only have the office, it's easy. It's every sale. Whereas if it's specifically a fairly large or it's a large brokerage firm, name firm, that kind of thing, then you need to fine tune it. You also need to fine tune it whether it includes sales and leasing or just sales. Those are the kind of things that would be per negotiations between the board on the one hand and the brokerage firm involved.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you. He also wanted to know your estimate of the revenue, how the estimate of the revenue could be that high. In other words, if a particular real estate company wins that bid, how much do you estimate their sales in our community to be?
Could you repeat? You're asking me how I would estimate the number of sales? I mean, I don't think that's...
Yes. In other words, I think you indicated to me previously that once somebody wins that RFP and has an office there in the community, you have indicated that they sometimes obtain up to 50% of the sales from that one company.
That is fair. It really, I mean, so initially, it's going to be pretty much business as usual while people get used to the fact that there's an on-site realtor who really knows the community and is focused on you only, not outside the community where there's other property available, of course. There's other subdivisions, of course. This on-site realtor is really there to sell your community. So at some point, and I can't tell you how far in the future, they will be really farming the community and looked upon as the preeminent on-site realtor, the person to go to when you're trying to buy and sell Sun Lakes Country Club real estate. In my mind, it'll take a couple of years to get to that point. And the actual penetration in the market in a lot of these communities is above 50%, yeah, when they are on site. I think I answered your question, Bob.
Thank you. Marcy?
Yes, thank you. I don't have a specific question for the attorney, but I do have a statement. I feel that the board's role model is not supposed to be to the west of us. The country clubs in the desert, we are not those people. Please focus on the immediate needs of Sun Lakes. Stop deferring repairs year after year. Prices increase, and by the time particular repairs are finally addressed, it costs many more times the previous dollars. Focus on here and now. Please stop looking at other side of the fence because the grass isn't always greener. Lastly, you are elected to represent us. Please pay attention to your duties here in Sun Lakes. Thank you.
My turn?
Yes, you're up.
B. Mercado, resident of Sun Lakes. I am also here to speak against this proposition. If you look around at who is here and who's attending today, do not take that as the total number of people who are dissatisfied with your choice of increasing revenue through an outer agency. We in Sun Lakes, we like what we have here as far as a community. You need, I don't like to give you direct. We need to take more action with the people that are actually living here, residing here. We also have active real estate agents who know our community, who are receptive to our choices of who we want to come in, who they can vent? No. Vet. I need help, yes. who we can have vetted because they have our interests at heart. I know we want to increase revenue, but I don't think we are not a business, we're a community of residents. And I'm asking, I don't want to be known as Sun Lakes Country Club Sales. I want to be known as Sun Lakes Country Club Community. And I'm asking that you take into consideration that we have new board members who may be unaware of what it would cost you as far as going along with the proposition without having more investigation into it, more time. I would have liked to have seen an ad hoc committee of real estate agents that live within our community, some of our committees who would have investigated a little bit more and maybe come up with something more personal as to what our residents could really want to have in that space. We're not here for money making, and so I would like you to reconsider whether or not this is how you want to have us represented as a real estate sales office. Thank you.
My name is Wanda Garsha. I'm a resident here, and I am just listening. This is the first I've heard of us with a potential having a real estate agency here. My concern is we have quite a few REOs that's also in the community. Is there a way that we can make sure that if you're going to have a broker or an agency or whatever, is very well-versed in handling the sale and the purchase of REOs? Because the longer that they are vacant, the less we're receiving in revenues. And that's our HOA dues. So once those are sold, we can have those revenue streams coming in. So I would encourage or support anyone that could get rid of the REOs because they're standing there empty, vacant, doing nothing but being a drain on the community.
Good
Thank
point.
you.
Good point. I agree.
Hi, I'm Sherry Little, and I worked 16 years as an escrow officer, and the first experience that I ever had in Sun Lakes was doing notaries and stuff in Sun Lakes. I thought this was a beautiful community, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic. So as I grew older, we bought our first house in here. I had a realtor. He brought us in, showed us several houses. I put offers on several houses in here and found out later on that our offers were higher than the offers that were accepted. Why? Because this community is a very tight community and they want their friends to move in, and we lost out because the people either knew the sellers or they knew the agent, and the agent, was talking them into, take these people, they're great people, da-da-da-da-da. So we finally bought our house from a realtor, and she owned the house, on Olympic. We lived there for 2 years. Circumstances happened. We had to move away. But we knew we were going to come back here. So when we came back, a friend of ours, because I made us several friends in this community, a friend of ours said, hey, Sherry, there's a house on the Hole that you want to live on. It's one of the models that you wanted to buy. You should go check it out. So I checked it out. Again, the agent, she was the sister of the other agent, and she talked us into, or she talked to the sellers of letting us purchase this house because we had lost so many houses before, and this is one of them. We have sold that house since then. The agent that we hired, there's so many agents in here. I didn't want to use one of them in here because I didn't want to piss off any of my friends. So we went on the outside, got another agent. She brought several people in. Guess who we sold that house to? Somebody that lived over on the north side. That's what happens. Our houses sell themselves. We don't need an outside agent to come here and sit in one of our places because this community helps sell our houses. And I'm going to be one of those. I've talked to several people of my friends to bring them in, and I'll get them attached to one of these realtors. I don't need an outside realtor.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Sharon Keeley. I live in Laguna Seca. Just one comment that I think our attorney said earlier. He doesn't want to increase our dues, our HOA, $5 or $10 a year. If you're talking about $5 or $10 a year difference, and plus not having this outside agent here a month, okay, $5 or $10 a month sounds good to me compared to having something. Let me just go into something. I'm a person that read all your RFPs, and one of the things is that they will be able to call themselves Sun Lakes Country Club. You can either say Sun Lakes Country Club office, resale office, leasing office, on-site real estate. I mean, it's just like, okay, they belong to our country club. They say very clearly that they're going to get some parking space and located, it's a blank, so it doesn't tell you how many, located adjacent to the clubhouse building, so you know where that has to be, somewhere around here. And it just goes on and on. They may be able to come in and they can come in, of course, they can use our hallways, they can use the restrooms, which would be only polite of us to do. Of course, you know I'm already complaining about you don't have to show your card to go in the restaurant or the lounge, so therefore anybody can go in there too. So while they're here, why not? And it just goes on and on and on, which it just tells me that we're just giving away and giving away to these people. And like so many people said, it's just an individual. And then the advertisement requirements is for them to run a minimum of a full page twice a month in one or more of our Sun Lakes listings to promote in a magazine within the San Gorgonio Pass area. The tenants shall increase marketing efforts directly to Sun Lakes Country Club homeowners. Do I need another piece of mail coming to me directly? They will, to secure listings compiled, tenants shall promote and sponsor a minimum of one Sun Lakes Country Club homeowners event, probably something that they will sponsor for us. And tenants will increase the email, and it does say with the landlord's permission, but email, so that does they have access to all of our email? Do we get the blast? That we get the blast for everything that goes on around here? I don't know. And then tenants will send us postcard mailings in September, November, January, and March. I don't need another postcard coming in from real estate. And tenants shall be required to run these ads in the fall and the spring, the winter. And it's just, because I spent so much time reading this RPF, there's a lot of things in there. And if I'm an outsider and I'm coming and I read this and I fill in my name because I want to be this person, I want to be this real estate, I'm going to fill in my name and it says all these things. So I know it's not set in stone yet. I know, but if I'm filling out the paperwork right now and I'm selling what I understand that you're offering me, it's going to be hard to come back on it later. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charlie London. I've been a resident here for 8 years. My question to the board is, the homes that you did the analysis on are obviously worth more than our average home in Sun Lakes, probably twice as much. And the other question I want to know is, what commission are we dealing with, and what will Sun Lakes receive on that 6% or whatever they're using right now be to our HOA? And I wanted to know if you have done an analysis on that. The other thing is, can we put a vote to the HOA members, or is it too late to do that? I think you should get the majority of the homeowners' opinion before we go forward with this. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Miller. I am a resident of District 10 and also a former realtor. My question is, maybe not my question, but my comment is that I want the opportunity to choose my own realtor. I don't want to be told who I must use to buy or sell my home. Thank you.
You still have that option.
Wayne has a comment, Mr. President.
Yeah, I mean, so every homeowner has the right to choose whoever they want as the realtor. Just because there's a lease with a realtor for the potential lease anyway, that there's no built-in requirement whatsoever. You can use anyone you want that's a licensed California realtor as your agent or broker. So none of that's mandatory whatsoever.
My name is Sandy Howe. We lived here for 4 years. We just moved in, obviously, not too long ago. And when we looked in the areas, we were looking in Palm Springs, Vegas, but we were coming from Reno again, back. And they put us in touch with a gentleman in Palm Springs, and he knew an agent here. At that time, we did not know that. Put us in an agent here. We put a bid in on July 2nd and closed on July 13th. And because of the agents that lived here, and they worked, they showed us everything, and it was a great deal. I know a lot of agents that live here, you know, if we have to sell in a year or two to personal reasons and everything. I'm going to go through Sun Lakes Realtors because they know our property. They know the people. They know what we have to offer. And that's who we're going to go through. I think sometimes I sit there and I think, okay, Sun Lake Country Club. It's a private country club. We have a great golf course. Our dues went up 300% last year because we can compare to Palm Springs. So I think with Sun Lakes, we're in between what the board needs to think about. Is it going to be Sun Lake Country Club or is it Sun Lake 55 or over? Because this looks like what they're trying to do here is bring in another realtor office. Are we doing Sun Lakes 55 over? Or are we doing Sun Lake Country Club 55 over? Because to me, there's two different things there. And when you bring 55 and over, it brings you in different people. And I think that we need to focus on where are we going? Which direction? 55 and over or Sun Lake Country Club 55 over? Because right now, it looks like Sun Lake Country Club 55. And that you're going to bring, I know that's kind of contradicting what I'm saying, but it's going to bring in so many different type of people and not offer what we have here as a private country club. Hope that makes sense.
I don't think it'll change the age requirement. You know, we're a 55 and over community. We are a country club, but I don't think it'll change that, you know, that specific requirement.
It's about how we look. Are you a private or are we a 55? Sun Lake Country.
We're both. We're both. We're a private, active adult retirement community, you know, and it's a great community, and we're going to continue the way we currently are. That's my opinion.
One thing.
Does anyone else have any comments? Haven't you been up before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I don't mind you coming again, you know, but there's some others that may want to comment. Thank you.
Don't see me. I'll be very quick.
Okay.
If it's reasonable for this country club to have a real estate office, it should not be reasonable to put it in the lobby. The lobby on a weekend, if they bring in people, it's just going to cause problems with the movement in the area. We have a room over here, it's called the bus room. If you took the end part of the bus room and did it, then the parking lot is out there, everything is off to the side. It's more logical to do something like that on the extremities of the building.
Thank you.
My name is Fran Hanwari, and I live in District 7. I have been a resident of Sun Lakes Country Club for 15 years. And my District 7, we hold breakfast once a month. So we discuss various subjects according to whatever is taking place in our community. The month of July, we discussed this subject, and there's about like 12, 14 people that were there, and I asked who is in favor of this taking place, realty coming into our community. Please raise your hands. Not one person raised their hands in favor of it. So I am not in favor of it. $10 that is going to save me on my HOAs, $20 that is going to save me on my HOAs, that is not worth it to me. Another subject too that I'm not sure I understand is the leasing. As I see the numbers of the houses that go for sale in my district, I see 1 out of 3 houses that are selling being leased. Are we going to be a community of leases, or where are we going? I'm not in favor, and neither were the people present at our breakfast for District 7. Thank you very much, and I know you all are residents, and I know that each one of you would like what's for the best of our community, and thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Dory Gartsky. My concerns are, one, that when you say we're going to have to build out that area and you have what you believe is an estimated cost, the estimates that you've given us when we did the sandwich turned out to be a little bit less than what was reality. The estimate that you gave us when we decided to do the lounge turned out to be a little bit less than what you had thought to say, or a little bit more, I should say, a little bit more. So I'm concerned about that, because I do see that this area is an area that's going to have to be fully enclosed. This is private information, and people cannot just sit behind a bar and discuss this private information. So we're going to have to build a wall, enclose it. And inside that wall is going to be some personal information and some equipment that's necessary to perform these tasks. So they will necessarily also have to have a locked door. So when they leave in the evening, everything remains safe. Well, putting up a wall and a locked door, then you're going to have to look at, what about the lighting now that I've got a wall up and a locked door? Or what about the air conditioning in that area? There's a lot of things that are going to go into that I think are going to end up costing us a lot more. And as the gentleman on the TV there said, it sometimes takes as much as 2 years to be able to build an established clientele. And for 2 years, who's paying for this? You're saying that the person who comes in will pay. Are you indicating they're going to pay up front, or do you think that we're really just waiting and hoping that we will get that monthly payment from the sale of all of their properties, and that's what's going to pay for it after the fact? And if we only have a 1-year lease and he hasn't paid us enough to pay back all the money that it cost, then what? Is that coming out of our pocket?
Thank you. Maybe I didn't make myself clear earlier. All improvements, all cost, everything are borne out by the tenant. We are not the tenant. The tenant is the company coming in. So whatever they need to do to enhance that, to make it workable for them, that's on their dime, not ours.
So before they're allowed to move in, they have paid for it?
Everything, yeah, everything. And even afterwards, if they want to make any changes, it's on them.
And if it doesn't work...
It's not on us. We invest no money into this project. All we will do is receive revenue. Thank you.
Am I on the right side?
I don't know, we've had no one on that
I think
side.
we got kind of confused here. I think this is the ones that were for it, and that was the ones that were against it. So, well, I have to tell you, my name is Michelle Walter, and I've lived here for 22 years, and I have to tell you, I was not real happy about this real estate office going in at all. And I did tell my husband. But then I understood what was going on. I went out to one of the other communities, and yes, that community is way more expensive than ours, but we're a smaller community and we can still bring in a lot of money. I am for this, but I have to say, we've elected our board to make decisions for us. This is what we have done, and they're going to do the best that they possibly can. Whether they make this decision or not, I don't know what they're going to do. I absolutely don't. But I'll give you another thing. Why don't we just raise our dues $50, and that'll shut everybody up?
Thank you. That's an option.
That's enough.
Thank you, Master Board, for this town hall. I think it's really an important time and an important topic. David Marshall Keeley. I live on Laguna Seca Court. I often say it's Laguna Seca Raceway, but those who are not racing fans don't understand that course in Northern California. I pulled from the FRP, actually with help of my wife, 11 topics that are really short and they're precise, but I'm going to refer to a couple of them. Dory talked about the architectural situation, and I'll talk about that. But I wanted to say something about the sign outside of the entrance to gate number 1. This is word for word. Signs, resale office, one sign adjacent to the premise may be installed by tenant, but only of such size, color, style, and location as consented to by landlord. Landlord will not unreasonably withhold its consent to any sign. The sign shall be located outside the entrance to gate 1. Now I'm going to talk about the 400 square feet approximately. The premises improvement shall consist of construction of an office/conference room of approximately 400 square feet. As a design architect, I got my trusty ruler out and I measured 13 by 15 feet for that space as it exists now. If you do the math, that's 195 square feet. What's interesting as a design architect with projects in dozens of countries globally over the years, and one under construction right now in North Liberia that I am very active with, I heard a rumor that if more space is needed, it could go into possibly the library next to it. So I measured the library next to it, and it's 15 by 15. However, if you look at the space, the back of that cabinetry doesn't go to the outside wall. There's a mechanical room, there's an electrical room, and you get to it if you go into the lending library. So they couldn't use all of the library. They would have to have 3 or 4 square foot, 3 or 4 foot wide hallway to go to that area to get to that existing room. So the most that there would ever be, if you took the lending library away, would be probably 340 square feet. So 400 square feet. So basically, as I look at some of these issues, I would like for you to bring to us at times like this more information about what the sign would be like outside gate 1, or more information about HVAC that was mentioned earlier. Dory mentioned something about the lighting and the air conditioning, because if that's going to be a business office / conference room, that's really important. ADA requires a certain size door if there's remodeling of an existing place, and a 5-foot diameter for a wheelchair within that office. So those are things that architecturally we really need to know more about. But thank you, and I am against this and think you should say no to this change.
I'm Nita Cook, and I'm a resident here of Sun Lakes for 13 years. a lot of the stuff I was going to talk about has been covered by other people in different ways, but I just want to point out to the master board that as homeowners, we are stakeholders in Sun Lakes. We own this place, and it's a private, I moved here because it was private, because of the amenities, and I don't think we should have businesses here. I did find some information on our favorite resource, the internet, and it does say in a private gated community, the board of directors likely cannot approve a business for the clubhouse that's open to the public. The specific rules are governed by the association's covenants, conditions, and restrictions by state law, such as the Davis-Sterling Act. And apparently you have researched that, but so violating the community's residential charter, I guess you've covered that. Zoning laws, is this zoned for commercial? If it is, if it isn't, then that is governed by, the zoning company. And then liability and insurance, well, if something goes wrong, are we going to be liable for it? And then impact on the exclusivity. Community facilities like a clubhouse are considered amenities for members and their guests. Opening a business there to public erodes the exclusive use of these amenities, which is one of the benefits of homeowners pay for through their dues. So, thank you.
I'm going to have our attorney respond to one of Anita's concerns. Wayne?
I'm sorry, Bob. What did you say again? Can you repeat?
Yes, would you like to respond to Anita's concerns about having no businesses in the HOA community?
Like,
Yeah, her question was, are we allowed to have businesses in the HOA community? I was asking you to respond to that question.
Provide businesses
yeah.
for outside
I mean,
resources.
I'm just giving the simple answer that, the one thing I haven't looked at is the zoning laws, but you are operating businesses in this location. I highly doubt there would be an exclusion from any other business, but yes, you have the right to enter into this lease, and you have the authority to do so without a membership vote. It's really a policy decision of the board. I applaud the board in transparency to holding this town hall and getting the opinions of the membership before it makes a decision. But you have the authority.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name's Michelle Bravo, and I've only been here a couple years. But so what is so against the salon? You said Four Seasons has a salon and it's just out, it's not productive? Because I go to Huntress and I'm sure, I feel like that owner, this would be a cash cow for a salon. And that is a steady income, because we're going out to get our hair, we're going out to get our nails done. If it was here and it was convenient, we're going to come here, I'm going to have lunch here, I'm going to drink here, we're going to say everything here. So why?
Good question. I checked with Four Seasons president and Jerry Monahan, and he indicated to me that they have it. It's convenient for some of their residents, but it makes no money at all.
So they're not paying rent there because?
They pay. I think it's like $500 a month.
No, but it would be $500 because if they were leasing a building.
Let me answer, please. Over there, and their community, and you can check with Jerry. He's been the president for many years there. He indicated that the salon makes no money. It's nice for the residents, but it makes no money. Now, do you want to walk in to the front door of our community and have a salon right there? I don't know. I don't know if you do.
Right. If it was private, I don't want to see a real estate agent there.
It won't make us any money, and we're looking at this point, what's the maximum income for that limited space, whether it's 200 square feet or 400 square feet? If it's 200, I don't think you could ever put in a salon.
So you're looking at what's best, what's going to bring in the most revenue, not would be
correct.
what
What's best for the community.
HOA would be convenient for us, because that wouldn't be convenient for everybody, would be convenient for some,
Well,
but
not
for a lot of
everybody.
people.
Not everybody. Thank you.
Well, it'd be convenient for a lot.
Not everybody. Thank you.
Go ahead.
There, am I on?
Yes.
I just wanted to take a moment and speak into the salon idea. It is a small space, and we all make our choices about where we go get our hair done, because someone does what we want. So it's just like being able to pick your own real estate agent. But salons have a lot of chemicals that they use, permanents and coloring, and there's hair dryers, which are noisy, and the sinks where you're washing. And so I don't think the space accommodates that. And it's also going to create, in that small space, real ventilation needs and heat and the cold. And personally, I would not want to sit in that space right inside the lobby where everyone who comes in out of the clubhouse can see me in my little plastic, shroud gown and my hair. It's just, so it is an interesting idea, but I think just as a board trying to consider the idea of smells, chemicals, noise, hair dryers, what is going to be, and privacy and discreetness as we get color and have foil and sit under hair dryers in that space that's realistic, whereas this is a professional office that doesn't bring any of these other elements into play. So that's just something I wanted to speak into. Thank you.
I know I'm on the wrong side, but that's okay. I've been there before. My name is Carol Elliott, and I've been a resident for almost 11 years now in District 4. And I've been a realtor for over 40. And I've owned 3 offices, 25 agents at one time. I understand the income from a business standpoint is important. And I have written a letter to you and to FSR about this. I don't feel it's a good fit for Sun Lakes. I, as a realtor, I would not bring my clients here, which I do now. I wouldn't want them going through another office to see me. I think lots of other realtors here would feel the same way. I have a folder of letters that realtors and property owners have sent to me because I tend to be, I don't know, I guess a hold-in pattern for people. So they've sent those. I also have a list of interesting ideas that people have sent to use that space other than a real estate office, and some of them don't require any manpower to be in there. Like a salon requires people doing things, and a real estate office requires people in there doing things. I'd be happy to provide that to you. I don't want to take everybody's time up today, but it really is kind of interesting to me, and I think it would be interesting to you as well.
We would be interested. Yes, thank you. We would be interested.
Thank you.
Good job. Hi, my name's Pam Sinkyu. I've lived here over 4 years now. I just have a concern. I'm not sure why a real estate office would be needed when there are so many realtors who actually live here. I'm one also, and it seems like, but not that active, but anyway, going back to this, it seems like we are charging buyers coming in 6 months worth of HOA plus $950 lifetime membership. It's like $3,000 to move in. It seems like you can get, it'd be more beneficial if somehow, if this is legal, that each realtor or broker's company maybe pay a small percentage of their commission on each house that's sold here. I mean, if we have 50 houses here and each side puts in $500, that's $50,000 right there. It seems like we could save money that way and then use that portion in the, for our community. And also, I moved here because this is an established community, a golfing community. And I feel like our homes should be worth way more than they are. Thank you.
My name is Greg Sharp. I live on Salama Way, and we moved in here in 2022. And the person that we bought the house from was an agent here in Sun Lakes, and actually our agent was, and also the person that the house we bought from, he was an agent here in Sun Lakes. My question is, how many homes are sold every month were sold by people that live in here, agents that live in Sun Lakes? And what kind of an effect that would have if we had a independent agency come in here? Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for coming
Hold
today.
on,
Oh,
Bob.
I think we have one more.
Well, I wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, we haven't actually looked at these proposals yet, and I appreciate everybody's comments and definitely will take it all into consideration. But I wanted to, at least in my sense, make some things more clear, because I've heard multiple people say that we're bringing in outside people. And I don't know this for a fact, but I have a pretty good sense of it, and that is the proposals we received are from brokerage firms that majority of their agents that would be located here actually live here. So they wouldn't be necessarily outsiders, and for me, it would be a consideration if the brokerage house that we ultimately chose, if we do that, would have their brokers that live in here. I actually see a couple in the crowd here that I know live here and have listings in Sun Lakes. Second of all, with regard to the security issue, I feel this gives us an advantage to have an influence on the brokerage house and their agents that would be working in here. We want a relationship with this company that goes beyond them just paying rent. We want to have some influence over what they do as far as bringing their clientele in the community. And we believe, or at least I believe, that we can have more influence that way. Not necessarily that other agents aren't abiding by the rules, but we can make sure that they're providing their customers with our CC&Rs and our rules and regulations, so that a buyer that comes in here has an understanding of our rules when they move in. And then thirdly, we are, whether people acknowledge it or not, a golf community. And we can have some influence on those companies that then can help sell the golf memberships to their clientele. And somebody mentioned the risks, or that are we going to be sure about their insurance? Well, we will make sure they have adequate insurance, and they will name the association on their policies. So I just wanted to make sure that, some of those thoughts are things that we are considering. Thank you.
Yes, you're next.
Raylene Kretschmann, I lived here over 12 years. When I moved in here, a company called Sun Lakes Realty dominated this place. I think a lot of you remember that. And then the second thing I want to say that's really important is I really applaud you guys for thinking outside the box. And we did vote you in as our board, and we should listen to you. My only objection to this whole thing, I don't want to come in that front lobby and see a business. It's a beautiful lobby when I bring my family in here, my friends. They all comment about that. And you know that there are going to be people sitting in that lobby waiting to see that real estate agent. And I think find someplace else for it.
Thank you.
Hello, I've been a resident here, started out as a leasee, now living in a residentially owned home for 13 years. And I see that this topic swayed a little to making money here. What can we do to bring the population that's already here to come and participate in the games, sometimes that we pay a little bit of money to play? This room was full of cornhole tournament last weekend. We played for 5 and 6 hours for $5 and had fun, met new people. I go to the dining room, I go to the sand wedge, They're never full anymore. 13 years ago, without the addition of the current lounge, we packed ourselves in and stood up all night in a little niche in the corner with somebody playing some music, and we wouldn't think of missing that. Things have changed. Age in this place. And I listen to people have a fear that our HOA is going to go up. Well, 1977, I bought a house for $500 down payment. Now, do you think I can go out and buy a house for $500 down payment anywhere now? No. Why do we not expect that prices are going to have to go up? I have property in another part of California. My homeowner's dues are $741. And we're complaining, and I have no amenities, 0 amenities. And we have all of this. We're going to have to make the money by people coming out and using the facilities, being in the garage or the lounge, the pool, all of these things. There's only one thing that brings a crowd out here, and that's the word free. Everything that's free here, the place is packed. Let's all get out when we have to pay a few bills. That's my
Thank you very
money.
much. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Beverly Agner. I've lived in Sun Lakes for 22 years. My daughter started with Presley here as they were starting to build, so I was able to watch it being built. As I moved into Beaumont in 1966, with a population of 6,000 people, we have more living in Sun Lakes today than lived in the small town of 11 by 11 square blocks in Beaumont. I'm saying this because we have seen both of these towns grow. I won't talk about Banning, but we have seen both of the towns grow. And it's always been by people that we have elected to do the job for us, and they sometimes get grandeur ideas. I agree with Michelle Walter. It is the elected board, the board we elected to do something. I know a few of you have been appointed since then, and I go along with that too. But the fact is, I don't know that we elected you to really change Sun Lakes into something that it has never been. And that is a business, which brings me to the fact that since we're HOA, will this affect our IRS taxes? It won't. Well, how we get away with that, I'd like to know. But
Our attorney can address that, but IRS Rule 528, we are not subject. You can have businesses, I think it's up to like 30% of your revenue can come from businesses, but our attorney can respond to that.
Well, I would like to be certain of that. And
I can show you, I have a copy right here with me.
Okay, and I would not only like to be certain of it, but I'd like to know what gross amount, when reached, would then make us taxable, where we would have to pay taxes. But basically, all I'm saying is when it comes to spending, and I know we're not spending any money, but when it comes to this kind of operation, I really believe that it's the homeowners that have the right to vote on this type of operation. We're changing the entire complex of the lobby of the front of our beautiful clubhouse. And I think that it's just imperative that you get more people to agree with you on this than what we have now as far as the negative. And I am negative. I'm very negative on it. So I don't know if I made sense because I had so much on my mind, but the main thing is please let the residents vote on something like this, because it is changing. It's just like if you want to change one of the, close one of the golf courses, or if you want to open it to the public. I mean, those are items that the residents must vote on. So, thank you.
Both podiums are available. Both podiums are available.
Hi, Diane Arhus, District 10. I am here mostly to listen to everybody. I don't have a strong opinion either way. I see both sides probably equally. But I would like some clarification. I've got questions. In order for it to be 400 square feet, it would have to take that room that is the library. Is that the plan?
The plan is not to take anything other than the Cheers bar. The people that have submitted bids and are interested have seen, have toured. They know the exact location, whether it's 200 or 300. I personally didn't measure it, but they know the exact
Dimensions?
size of it, and they have bid on it.
Okay.
So we have no plans to impact the library or any other
The reading room?
portion
where the
of
books
our area there. Correct.
Okay. I just wanted clarification on that
Yes.
because that 400
It's a good question. though,
confusing.
Because someone estimated 400, but it's not 400.
Thank you.
Richard McCard, resident of Sun Lakes since 2019. I came here with an open mind, didn't really know how I felt about this. Some of the concerns that have been mentioned here are of a logistic nature, and I think that needs to be really thought through. And in particular, not just how the 400 square feet are going to be allocated, but the interaction between people going to and from that business and other functions inside the lounge is going to be very significant, needs to be very carefully thought through. The second point I'm going to make, there was a lady here yesterday, Wendy Ditchfield was her name. She talked very emotionally about parking issues for handicapped people in conflict with people at the Pop tennis courts. We're going to put parking in that same general area, or so somebody suggested. That's going to exacerbate the situation, make it even worse. So we have logistic issues with the lobby and with parking. The last point I will make, and I'll make this very clear, not only do I agree with the people who have mentioned this needs to be voted on by the community, but that ballot has to have a lot of these questions resolved. I have a sense that these issues are being raised, and at least there's no feeling they've been solved, and I certainly have that sense myself. I would like to see those logistic issues solved and the issue put to a ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and see if, before we close this up, I want to check and see if our attorney wants to make a closing statement. Wayne?
I really don't have anything to add. It becomes a board policy decision, weighing all the information you received today, the information you've received prior in time, but from a standpoint of whether you have the authority, yes, you do, and whether or not it would provide revenue, clearly it will. And I think the board has to weigh the pluses and minuses of both what you've heard today and what you have gathered in your own information.
Thank you. Any comments from the board members? I would like to just thank everybody for coming today, sharing your opinions and your concerns. No decision has been made on this. I would also like, because we have over 6,000 people that live here. Some of them are probably watching on Channel 97, or going to be listening or getting information from Facebook, which sometimes can be scary. But I would like for some of those to contact us too. If you were unable to make it here today, please let us know, the board members, directly to the board. Call, text, email, and we will listen before we make a decision. So thank everybody for coming, and This is a very important matter, and I hope that we're able to get this resolved for the benefit of the community. Our concern is for the entire community. Thanks again.